Okay, so before we even get started, I do want to ask, are you guys a rope drop family or are you guys we'll get there when we get there family?
So we are a rope drop family. Tried and true. We will always rope drop every single time. KJ, what about you?
We definitely are not rope drop people. If it were just me, I probably would be a rope drop gal.
Fair.
But with my husband, he likes to sleep in. And with my kids, we just are not getting around that early. So we're showing up to the park at around 9:30 or 10 a.m. every time.
Could
Well,
be
you
season
have
of
two
life
girls.
too. Yeah, could be season of life, right? Because I've got a toddler, so we're up really
That's true.
early.
That's true. But you probably will still catch me just 9:30 or 10 a.m. every time. Our lightning lanes don't start till 9:30 or after.
Okay, so take notes, guys. KJ is the we'll get there when we get there.
100%.
So
100%.
we're not rope dropping with KJ.
Nope.
No rope dropping. I gotcha. Lightning lanes all the way.
I'm going to relax, and that sounds great. But it's turned into you have this feeling of you get there and you have to go, and you have to experience everything. And I hate that sometimes. I really think some people's experience get tainted because they feel that they have to do that, right? You don't get to experience all of the small things when you get wrapped up in running from place to place. So, Olivia, what's your take on that?
I do. I think what's happening here is you have a lot of people who want this big vacation going to Disney. They haven't been to Disney yet and they get so excited, right? And so they want to do everything. So they get to the parks and they're immediately trying to do everything on the list. Well, if you do that, you miss the magic of Disney, right? You miss the good parts of Disney. So what I always tell people as a travel agent is slow down. Pick your top rides, go to those, okay? Because if you try to hit everything in the park, you're going to miss everything. And so that is why I think it's overwhelming to people because they go in why can I talk because they go in and they say, look, I'm going to do everything and I don't even know where the character meetups are. I'm just going to do all the rides and they miss everything that's really cool.
Yeah.
So
What's the biggest mistake you think, Katie, you made when planning Disney with your family?
That's a loaded question because my mistake with planning for Disney is I planned too much. I said, we're going to go in at this time. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. And as soon as that plan started to go awry, I felt like, well, this is just a disaster. The whole day is like, it's not working out in the way it's supposed to. And now that I'm like past that, to go in and just not have a hard plan of what you're doing and let like the Disney magic take you. I know that sounds funny, but like, you know what I mean? I let my toddler kind of lead me where he wants to go. We see characters, we run into characters. You see things that you wouldn't normally see if you were chasing a lightning lane or chasing rides. Like, it's a hot take, but my family doesn't typically do lightning lanes. We're just very go with the flow. So, KJ, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, same. I think one thing that makes it so overwhelming is having too much of a plan. And that is why we like to go with the flow so much. And I think having expectations that it's going to be magical 100% of the time, because at the end of the day, especially when you're traveling with your kids, there's going to be meltdowns. 100% there's going to be meltdowns
Yeah,
from kids
absolutely.
and adults alike, right?
Yes.
Not the number of meltdowns I've encountered
Husbands,
and had.
husbands, why are you making me carry all of this?
Exactly. And
Please.
like things are not always going to go as planned. You might be late to a lightning lane. Your kid might be crying because their ice cream fell onto the concrete. Like things don't go as planned, but knowing that ahead of time, I think will make it feel less overwhelming and just know that you can still find magic in the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
Steph, what do you think?
I think families get overwhelmed with all there is to do. There's so much to do, and I think that when you have a multiple people in a family, like I only have one child, right? But you have families that have more than one kid. Everybody wants to do something different, and you feel like you're trying to find how do you fit everything into one day. And I think that families get overwhelmed with the need to do everything like Olivia said, but you're being pulled in different directions because this one wants to go see princesses, this one wants to go on
Yeah.
pirates,
Mm-hmm.
and you're
100%.
trying to get it all done at the same time, and you're not taking a breath, and you're go go go. And I think that people need to just stop, slow down, look at what's there, and don't feel like you have to do everything
Mm-hmm.
at one time. Take your time, take your breaks, have each person pick one thing they really want to do, get those done, and
Yeah.
then take it from there, you know?
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, Steph, I actually like what you said there because, like, when I have two girls and they're 4 years apart, so we're at very different ages. My oldest loves to
They
ride
want
Tron,
different
loves to
things.
ride Guardians, but my youngest is really into the character meet and greets. So, what we did last time is we divided and conquered.
Yep, that's
So,
what I was gonna say.
during Janie's nap
Yeah,
time,
we did, Katie.
my husband took her back to the room and had her rest. Me and Blakely went on all the coasters. We did everything that she wanted to do, right?
Fun.
And then when Janie came back, we even divided and conquered even more. Like we went and did some things and Kyle and Janie went and did some things. So you just have to like be aware of that and be aware of what your kids are wanting and know that it's okay to separate sometimes and just figure out
Exactly.
what works for you, right?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
Don't be
speak.
afraid
absolutely.
to separate your family. People feel like they want to be together the whole time, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's just not feasible. What if you have kids that can't go on a ride? They're too small.
Yeah,
But you've got older kids that want to go on a ride. You're going to have to separate in order to do that.
I was gonna
Go
say,
go do other things to make everybody happy.
even with one kid, we divide and conquer, right? So, like,
Mhm.
when we were just there, like, a month ago, if there wasn't a long wait for Small World, but waiting for Pooh and Tigger was long, we would divide and conquer. You know, Adam would go wait in line for the characters, and we're gonna go jump on Small World, and by the time that's done, it's like utilization.
Mhm.
You don't necessarily have to be together the whole time. Divide and conquer. That's good stuff. I love that.
Yeah, no, I have a really large family. You guys know that. And then I have 3 boys and then Isla and my husband. So it's really weird whenever like she's just now getting to the point where she's like, okay, I want to go over where the boys are going. Let's go over where Star Wars is. And I'm like, Isla? But like, I feel like, we have to remember our kids are all different people. We're all different people. Everybody in your party is going to have different things that they want to get out of the experience of going to Disney. So I try to keep that in mind because, like I talk a lot about the time we were like, okay, Isla, do you want to go on Slinky Dog Dash? That I wish I would have not done that, but like really being intuitive and being like, you know what, I really don't have to do this right now. Like we can always do this next trip when maybe you're not going to pass out on the ride.
Not passing.
Yeah,
Yes.
awesome. So, Katie, what's a mistake you've made that changed how you plan? Because I feel like that was my biggest mistake was saying, Isla, I think you're tall enough now. Let's just go on Slinky Dog Out. What's a mistake?
So, two things. One was preventable and one was not preventable. Something that's not preventable is rainy days. Like it does put a kink in your plans. And it's Orlando, right? Like we go to World and it's Orlando, so it's most likely going to rain at least once. But I'm talking about like when you get a full downpour, stormy,
Like the
rainy day.
monsoon.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the monsoon type situation. And again, that's where you just go with the flow. If I feel like that's where if you had a plan, you have to step back and say, it's okay. It's not going to happen today. Not let's pack everything up and maybe we can weather the storm. For my family, that's not going to work. That's going to cause too much stress. And so it is preventable, but it's going to be hard. I know when Caleb gets in grade school, and I know you guys can harp on this, but going during peak season is so hard. Like,
So
it's
difficult.
so difficult, and I guess peak season for me that I'm talking about is, like so we went October, so I would say, like, October and December they're just really busy times at the parks, and as much as I love the park, I just don't care to really be there during that time. It's challenging, and it takes away from the magic for me personally. But, Olivia, how you feel about that?
Well, you all know that I'm a big planner. So we actually had a huge family vacation. I'm talking like my mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, everybody came with their children and I was the planner. So we rope dropped to Animal Kingdom and you guys know my biggest thing. I go straight to Expedition Everest because I could ride it 8 times before I start my day and that makes me super happy.
Mhm.
So we
Is that
or
safe,
trekking.
Olivia?
100%, 100%.
Because
So
that's
we
like
are
at the medical
trekking. Like, I'm
emergency
like, "You
waiting
guys,
bathroom.
if you're not keeping up, you gone. So you better keep up
You
with
gotta
this
go.
10-mile-an-hour cart I got going on right here." My son's barely holding on. He's like, "Mom!"
Wind flowing.
But yeah, wind blowing. So we get up there, we're like, we're going over the bridge where they usually make you stop. And the girl's like, "Whoa, whoa, stop, stop." And I'm like, "Stopping." And so we stop. She's like, "Well, actually, Expedition Everest is closed down for right now, but they'll reopen in like 5 or 10 minutes." So we waited like 30 minutes right there. And finally they let us in and they had closed it for the first part of the park. And I was devastated because I had hyped them up about this 8 times in a row and everybody was excited and everybody was like, "Well, what do we do now?" And I was like, "What do we do now?"
Yeah,
Because I had
planner,
this
what do
whole
we
thing
do?
planned.
Yeah.
So really that's like the thing for me at that point, I realized that, and that happens to me on Frozen too. Every time I plan to rope drop Frozen, it never goes well. So I think realizing that things like that will happen and you just have to be ready just to just go with the flow. I was so excited about that I made it such a big deal that I almost ruined my morning because it was ruined for me. So you have to be okay with rides breaking down for 5 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour and just be
Mhm.
ready to do the next thing. So I feel like, Katie, that's probably the biggest mistake I would say I've made as a travel planner too.
Literally the same thing happened with us for Pooh Bear. We were so excited. We were like, "Oh, we're gonna
Of
rope
No.
drop,
course.
and we're gonna be the first ones in line for Pooh Bear." We get there, and they're like,
Mhm.
"We're sorry, the ride is closed down."
Yeah.
We're the
That's
day.
great. I love that. KJ, what's your horror
Okay.
story?
Well, so I don't know about you guys, but well, especially like you with toddlers, I had to be really flexible and realize I cannot stay in the park with my toddler all day long. It's just not safe, honestly.
No.
Like if I'm being really honest, like if I try to make her go from the time we get there until fireworks, there'll be about 17 meltdowns. But if I
Oh,
let her have a break in the middle of the day, we are much happier as a family
Yep.
unit. So I think that is my biggest mistake is like trying to push my kids past their limit. And when I just need to realize, hey, sis needs a break. Let's take, and so you know what? Sometimes I need a break. And so sometimes I will go back to the room too and take a little nap and then be ready to go for the evening. And it's just better on everyone at that point, honestly.
Yep. You
I
won't
agree with that.
ever catch me in the
But
park
that
12
just
to
made my
3.
head that made my head spin thinking about me having all and I'm not gonna lie to you, I tried it. I did try it. I was like, "Let's stay in Magic Kingdom," and my husband's like, "We can just go back to the room," and I'm like, "I don't wanna go back to the room. I wanna stay here, it's so magical," and then I actually have footage of Isla, like a live photo in front of her in front of the castle, kicking her legs in the stroller, like, screaming, and then I was like, "Okay, we need to leave, so people are staring, so it's time to go."
It's time to shut this down.
We've all,
It
Yeah.
really is funny how everybody's biggest regret or mistake has to do with a meltdown of a
yeah.
child or not
Yeah.
lack of nap time or things like that. I think we've all experienced that. I mean, and I think that I think one of the biggest mistakes maybe families make is not anticipating that. They think, "Oh, my kid doesn't need a nap," or "They're too old. They don't need a nap. They're 7. They don't need a nap." Yes, they do.
Mhm.
Yes, they do. And don't be afraid to let that 6.5, 7-year-old be in a stroller
Yes.
because they will put them in the stroller, let them push them. Who cares? You will not regret it at 8 o'clock at night when they are a little bit more rested, when they are have maybe fell asleep in it, and they're not screaming bloody murder because they're exhausted. And now they're 7, and you don't want to carry them around when they're exhausted.
Gives me
100%.
So I mean,
anxiety.
don't be afraid to put that stroller. Even if you're renting a stroller from Disney, don't be afraid to put them in the stroller when they're a little bit older. Don't be embarrassed about it. Do it
Mhm.
because you will not regret that later.
I think one thing that makes Disney feel easier or more enjoyable, is like that emotion that you get just being there, right? And like if you're someone that you can just stop and take a moment and like look around, but you go in kind of with a plan, it's not overwhelming for me. You know what I mean? It does feel
Mhm.
more enjoyable when I'm like, okay, let's just walk down Main Street. You know what I mean? Let's just walk down Main Street. Let's cruise. We don't have to buy anything, maybe. I don't know. My husband, I don't know. But maybe we can just walk around the stores. Let's go grab an ice cream. Let's go get a hot dog. And realistically, like the proximity to everything while you're in the park and in this area, like where in Fantasyland, that's such a nostalgic area. Like you just,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like Dumbo, all the things. And like you feel like a kid again when you're over there. And then you move over, where's Tiana's? Where's Tiana's?
Frontierland.
Frontierland.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frontierland. You go over to Frontierland and it's like you're somewhere else. You're no longer in Disney, you're somewhere else. So, I feel like for me, make the thing that makes it more enjoyable is just taking a second to really just enjoy where I am in the park for as long as I can, and then, like, always keeping in mind there's always another trip. We don't have to do everything in this trip.
You know what's so
What about you,
funny
Steph?
about that is I had probably been to Disney at least 12 times before we took Caleb for the first time in October. And it wasn't until I had him where I had the realization that I needed to slow down, which is so bizarre. But it was like, as soon as I had him, I was like, there's all these things that I've never noticed before. So really, like, sounds cliche, but like seeing it through his eyes physically slowed me down and made me see so many other things. And it's like a whole nother side of Disney I've never seen before. It's cool.
What I tell my clients is make your list of what you want to do,
Uh-huh.
right? Make all the list of all the things that your must do's, and there's usually a lot of them. And I say, and then I tell them cut it in half
Yeah.
that's smart.
because you are not going to do it all, and I don't want you or your kids or whoever to be upset or disappointed that you didn't get everything done. So pick one thing you want to do, but don't make your full list, but then of all those things, cut it in half and pick one thing that you want to do. And don't think like there's the perfect something that you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that perfect location to watch the fireworks.
Right.
There's not that and watching
Yeah.
the fireworks. You can see them from over in the corner. You can see them over. You don't need to have that perfect, you know, moment, it's going to be perfect no matter what
Mm-hmm.
because you're there and you're
Yeah.
experiencing it. But don't expect to hit every single thing that you on your wish list because it's not feasible to do it. Or if you by trying to do it, you're going to make yourself crazy and you're not going to take in, like you said, Katie, all the little things that you could be seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Steph, I disagree with you. There is a perfect spot, and you want to know where it is? It's at Casey's Corner.
100%.
Okay,
Eating a chili,
you are
eating a chili dog while with a crispy Coke while the castle show is going on is perfect. It's actually perfection.
I
It
don't
is.
know.
I
I
feel like
just
that's
experienced
probably
it on People Mover for the first time, and that was a game changer
that's
too.
that right?
Oh, yeah.
That's a
Or
perfect
you
spot.
know what another one is? From inside Royal Table, like
I've
having
heard
dinner
that.
with the fireworks going on
Yeah.
outside.
I
Yeah.
love that.
So there's
expensive
so many.
fireworks show. But then again, I did California Grill. Yeah. What's a small
Well, huh?
moment that meant more than any ride to you?
My daughter had a meltdown. I had a couple, but one of the first memories when I first brought my daughter there, when she had her meltdown at right literally 10 minutes before fireworks. She had her meltdown and she fell asleep in her stroller, passed out. I went to go get her a Mickey bar. I said, "You want a Mickey bar?" And she was like, "Ah." And I went to get her a Mickey bar. By the time I got back, she was passed out in the stroller because she was exhausted. And then it was during the Christmas party. And then they had the second parade go by, and she was slept through the entire parade. Not one thing woke her up. She missed the entire thing, and all the characters were coming over to her on the. She doesn't know about it, but every character walking down the street was coming up to her stroller and being like, "Shh, don't wake her, shh,"
Aw.
and coming up
That's
past
so
her.
sweet.
Did you
And
get picture stuff?
I have it on video.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have to
I
see
have
the
some
video.
video of it. I have a little bit of video of it. So yeah, I'd have to
That's
find it, but
insane.
yeah. And I wish it was something that she could remember. I mean, she probably wouldn't remember it anyway, but it was just something that was special because like she missed this whole thing, but they knew she was there,
You
passed out.
might not, but you will. And that's what's important.
Yeah.
What about you,
That
Olivia?
Phone thing just
Hey, welcome
decided to
back.
dislocate itself from the computer. Welcome back. So I honestly think the thing that really like the small moment is sort of like a memory for me now. The Osborne Family Delight Show. You guys, that was my favorite thing ever. And I remember the last time that we were there, and I remember realizing my dad was telling it was gonna be the last time it was gonna be here, and I remember just looking out into the street. We had great seats, and we were just watching it, and we were taking it all in because we had seen that for years, and I will always have that memory in the back of my head that just the whole thing. If you know anything about the Osborne Family Light Show, it was amazing. And
What
so
was it? What was it?
it
Tell
was
me about it.
so it's right where Toy Story area is now. So essentially they had the houses down the row and they did this light show and it literally made you think that you were in the middle of this like wonderful neighborhood
Oh.
that had these like light it was I mean there's no other word besides beautiful. Like there it was just amazing and thinking back I wish that I would have appreciated it more, but it was such a small moment that I will always never forget. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
yeah.
I was there the
Anybody
last
else?
year too. I
It's
saw them the
special.
last year they had it too.
Maybe you
Oh,
guys crossed paths. You didn't even know it.
Hmm.
Maybe.
Invisible strings.
We probably did.
Steph, if you
We were
guys don't
probably
know,
standing next to each other.
Steph's a shorty. Steph is our resident shorty. And Olivia is very tall. So I'm wondering, was Olivia standing in front of you? Did
I was like,
she
move.
obstruct your view?
Get out of the way.
I had my head up on your
Fireworks.
head like this.
once again, my
Olivia,
child was sleeping through it as well. Fell asleep in the stroller.
Olivia, what's something people don't talk about enough? Because I like feel like there's a lot of these things. So yeah, what is something you feel like in all of Disney that people don't talk about enough?
So this is not really, this is like a small thing that just came to mind. This has nothing, like I could probably come up with a million other things that are ride related or experience related. But Magic Kingdom, you know how hard it is to walk around that park when it's really hot outside in the middle of summer. If you're going in the middle of summer, there's this really cool place, you know, right around the corner from the ice cream shop. You keep going straight. They used to have like a food area there where you could actually order food. Well, they closed it down, obviously, and they do special events there. Most of the time, that place is open where you can go sit under fans, and there's these private bathrooms and stuff. And if you're in the middle of like a long Magic Kingdom day, you can go in there, and people don't realize it's open. And you go in there and you can chill, let your son or daughter nap while you maybe have a Casey's Corner hot dog. So if you've never done that,
Mhm.
people don't
Sounds like
talk
a
about that
plan. Sounds
enough.
like something
People
we're
don't realize it's
doing
there.
for a girl trip.
Just a little tip. Yep.
What
What
about you,
about you?
Shay? Oh, sorry. I was going to ask you. I don't really have anything on this one. I mean, my thing would probably be the playgrounds. Honestly, like people forget that there's
Mm.
playgrounds at most every park, or there's something to do other than rides at most every park, and at the resorts too. So if you're just wanting to have like a resort day, just go to the playground. Like we've spent hours at the playground sometime. And especially, like, if you're in the park, like, especially Epcot, I feel like
Mm.
it's so fun to go get a margarita from Mexico and then walk over across from Test Track. There's that really awesome playground. Just let your kids run some energy out. Get out of the
Mhm.
stroller, run some energy out, and then the parents get to
Yes.
sip on a margarita. I mean, I don't know. I think people need to take more advantage of those playgrounds.
Once again, KJ KJ brings the Avo Margan clutch for the
Yeah,
win.
Priorities.
absolutely.
Avo Mark has entered the chat.
You know what? You already mentioned it, but you guys already know the resort. Like I feel like people Disney spends a lot of time like planning out the resorts. I mean, I'm if I'm being honest, like we do spend a good like 4 to 5 hours in the afternoon at just our resort
Mhm.
because if we're going in the summer, it's hot. What do I do that I know my kids are gonna love? It's gonna cool them down and it's gonna wear them out. And then like after this, we can eat dinner, go watch the fireworks. Let's go to bed. Like I love taking advantage of the resort. Like KJ, you were saying, like the playgrounds at like Bay Lake Tower, they have like a giant, what is it, chess or badminton? I don't know what it is, but it's like a giant game for the kids to play outside
Yeah.
of the resort. And my kids will just run rampant up and down playing whatever they have out there. They have cornhole, just little things like that. Because,
There's
I
some
mean,
places that have like s'mores and stuff too at the
Oh, yeah, they
resorts. Like
do.
there's like different activities. There's
s'mores
like
kit.
tie-dye at Pop. Like
Yep. They have
there's
that at
so
the
many
All-Stars
different
too.
things.
S'mores
And
at
people always
Poly,
forget
you
about
know.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even if we're talking about the resorts, the activity centers that they have there,
Mhm.
like if it's raining or something like that, we can't go swimming. May not, we just want to wait it out at the hotel and like grab something to eat. We'll go color. They usually have some cool activity that you can pay to do inside of the activity center.
Yeah.
And then, like, you can buy the s'mores kits and stuff from the activity center if you go in there. They usually have, like, where you can pay for them and stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's something that I don't think people talk about enough. Okay, guys, I think this is the end of our first episode. What do we think?
Woohoo!
Here we go.
I think
This
this
is
is
so
the first end of it. And if you guys enjoyed this, please come back for more. We are just five moms trying to make your travel and Disney and theme park trips more magical. We really appreciate you guys for listening. Thanks for watching. Or if you're just listening, thanks for listening. Bye. Clip.